Hi everyone, my name is Kendall Wallace, and this is my YouTube presentation for my introduction. This is a picture of me from my senior year of high school. This was the year that I first started being interested in teaching. My first paid job was actually an after-school caregiver at the local K through 10 Christian school that I had attended from kindergarten through 10th grade. Then my junior year, I had gone to a boarding school in Spokane. But for my senior year, I came back home and did online schooling and decided to work after school at that school that I had attended. As the year went on, I moved on from just after school care for the lower graders, which are the kindergarten. Well, at that point, there was actually a pre-K. So pre-K kids to about fourth grade. And then they moved me from that to tutoring the fifth graders through the 10th graders because the teacher that had been doing that had gotten pregnant and there had been a mumps outbreak, and so she quit. And then they also used me as a chaperone for some school trips because I was 18 and could do it. Then the summer after my senior year, I graduated on June 17th, and on June 18th, I moved to Portland, Oregon, to live with my aunt who lived down there, and I went to school to become an EMT. So the school was in Milwaukee, and it took me hours to get there every day. I had to leave the house at 2 o'clock in order to be at class at 6 o'clock. It was crazy. I worked in a hospital and in ambulances that summer, and the very first call that I was on was actually someone who had gotten drunk at a movie theater and had cracked their head open. This helped me to make the decision that I wanted to become a nurse, and so when school started up again in September, I attended Portland Community College, and the very first set of classes I took were a biology class and a statistics math class. And those are two very advanced classes, so it didn't really work out in my favor. And I also worked at Target for a few months while I was going to school. And again, that didn't last very long because they weren't really willing to work with my school schedule, unfortunately. Because of the amount of math classes that I found out I was going to need to take, I decided that I did not want to become a nurse after all. So then I kind of just didn't know what to do with my life after that. That is when I got a job working at a learning tree, which is very similar to a daycare or a Montessori, if anyone knows what those are. It was called Turquoise Learning Tree. It was right by my house, and I worked there for almost 3 years. And I worked as an infant teacher, and I loved working with the infants. And I also worked as a pre-kindergarten teacher and an after-school teacher over the course of the 3 years. And I really, really loved working with the pre-K kids. It just felt like that's where I wanted to be. And honestly, there is a huge difference between working with 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds. and 4-year-olds just seem to be my thing. So then the reason why I no longer work there is because I got married and had to move. And so this is me now, this picture. I currently work as a pre-kindergarten teacher at the pre-K through 10th grade school that I mentioned in my second slide that I attended. And I work with a director who I grew up knowing very well. Her son was in my class. And I live in a very small town in Washington State. I also work as a substitute teacher, sometimes for grades 1 and 2 and grades 3 and 4. The reason why they're bunched like that is because the school is so small that each of the classrooms have 2 grades in them. So it's pre-K is one classroom, kindergarten is one classroom, and then first and second is one classroom. Third and fourth is one classroom. I also work as a teacher's aide for grades 3 and 4. I grade papers for her. I do errands for her. All kinds of things. It's just depends on the day. It depends on, you know, what's going on. So then I also am in school. So I am in school working on my master's in education. I would like to get to the point where I'm qualified to be a pre-K director. That is my main goal. So the things that I love. This is my husband. I love him a lot. And then these are my animals. This is Thaddeus and Havoc. And Thaddeus is almost 1 and Havoc is almost 3. So, and they're both really cute and sweet. And this is the things that I like to do. Before COVID, I liked to attend concerts, and I had attended several. However, in the post-COVID world, it's not as reasonable to attend them, and so we really haven't done any since COVID hit. Down below the 2 concert pictures, you'll see a picture of my husband and I. We attended Comic-Con together, and that's something that we would like to do again. I've gone to Comic-Con twice, but he's only gone once, and it's a lot of fun, so I would like to do that again. Now, the 2 pictures of the cars, that is my husband's car, and we no longer have it. It was in a car accident last year, but on the weekends we like to go off-roading, and it is a lot of fun, especially here in Washington, because even though we live in a desert, it still rains enough that up in the mountains it gets really muddy and gross, and so it's just something that we like to do with his family, and especially because it's an easy way to spend time together. So, yeah. Thank you for listening to my presentation.